Hello, everybody. This is Massimo Cannizzo from Jellify Middle East. I'm honored and a pleasure to host again another session of our Black Swan series called Future Proof Your Organization with Black Swan Capabilities. Actually, the aim of this session is to revert a problem into an opportunity. Today, the topic is digital factory, the crucial role in the manufacturing, especially, but in any kind of factories, of digitalization and the use of advanced technologies. Let me introduce you now to the panelists and the speakers, the fantastic guests that we have today, starting, ladies first, from Lucia.
Hi everybody, it's Lucia Chierchia. I lead the Digital Factory in Jellify, exactly the topic of the day. Duilio?
Hi, good morning. This is Duilio Amico. I'm the Marketing and Network Development Director for Comau. So welcome to everybody.
And hello, my name is Mark Anderson. I head the robotics and automation products for Comau in North America. Good morning.
Hello everybody, my name is Ernesto Menino. I'm CEO and co-founder of Cyberdyne.
Fantastic, thank you very much. We will see very interesting contribution from you today. Let me just spend 2 minutes in introducing you to Jellify world. I mean, some of you already connected to the previous sessions, but some are new. So let me tell you what Jellify is. Jellify is a new kind of company, new paradigm that is based on managing a platform, the innovation platform, managing actually the scale up of startups, helping startups to grow, and having them and also participating and skin in the game on them in investments and providing them technical and commercial capabilities. At the same time, we create a fund of investment where investors can co-invest with us and join also some selection of validated startups and some due diligence at the beginning and the deal flow exit management at the end. So getting a better predictable ROI for their investments. And last but not least, we provide advisory to the organizations, public and private companies can have from us innovation advisory, but also concrete projects of digital transformation that are aiming to complement what startups doing in making also this kind of solutions more scalable and more robust. So I don't want to say more. It's we manage also community, and this event actually is part of Jellify community called Explore. But you can learn much more about Jellify and about our initiatives, reaching the website that you can see in the bottom of the slide. So this Black Swan series, we wanted to launch this Black Swan series because we wanted to analyze what is happening because of this unplanned event of COVID, but also for any kind of unplanned event that it will happen. We know that we are going in a direction of having a society, of having a business concept that is quite unpredictable. And it's, somebody said it's not a new normal, it's a never normal. And I fully agree on that. So I think that we need to be ready, we need to be equipped in order to respond on this. And it's not only on one piece of the company, it's overall the company. What we also observed is that digital will play a key role, and we observe a strong acceleration of the digital transformation in many companies because of this. So it's not really something new, it's really accelerated. The acceleration is what is happening. So this video is sharing the mood of this series. Great. Let's build the black swan capabilities. How to do that? We created a framework because we wanted to help our clients to navigate this kind of analysis and transformation opportunities to a structured approach across all the companies. So starting from the purpose of our business up to the impact on people and leaders from a human, and the change management and the experience transformation from the customer point of view, the modification of the way we manage the customers and of course the sales, the ecosystem of all partners that we need and we need to change also in order to face this new context. And last but not least, the bottom line, the factory, the production of our services and our products that needs to become more digital and not forgetting the physical, so what we call phygital factory. So today we have the session that will focus on this component specifically, on how to digitize at best the factory in order to increase the performance and to protect ourselves and our business for the next black swan. We have ideas for staying relevant, so very short and quick wins. We have ideas for the relaunch after the situation we are living, but especially we want to share with you idea for leading in the new normal, no? For leading in this new digital world in a way that machines and humans will cooperate at best. And nothing better than Lucia to introduce this on this word to you. So thank you, Lucia, and go ahead.
Thanks. Thanks, Massimo. Yes, in Jellify, I lead the Digital Factory, and actually in Jellify, I represent the mechanical, the physical part of this new digital world. I am a mechanical engineer, and I represent the typical people who live in manufacturing and who are trying to understand the potential of digital revolution and evolution. So the next 1 hour and a half will be split into 3 parts, okay? First, I will give you a super quick introduction about the challenges of smart manufacturing in the sense of integration of this digital dimension into the physical, mechanical ecosystem. So we'll try to understand which is the framework that as Jellify we have designed for the factory of the future, that is a digital factory again. Then together with our subject matter expert, with our special speakers today, we will treat different topics, so the different elements composing the digital frameworks. So from smart manufacturing together with Mark, to human-machine collaboration with Duilio, and then a digital transformation with Ernesto, okay? And then finally, we will try to understand that the evolution of business model, it is not just something for marketing people. It is also for us. It is also for manufacturing people. Then I'm looking forward to receiving your provocation during the Q&A session, okay? Just a recommendation for you guys, the Q&A is not just focused on questions. It is also focused on any kind of doubts, comments, even provocation or ideas, and why not solutions to build the digital factory from your side. So every time an idea, a provocation can come to your mind, please write directly into the Q&A. So I please ask you to avoid to use the chat, okay, but to use the Q&A piece into this digital platform, okay? So let's try to understand what's happening now. For sure, new technologies are emerging, not just the core technology for our company that can belong to mechanics, to physics, to chemistry, for example, but even new technologies that belong probably to the non-core capabilities of our company that is not digital native, let's say. This technology are creating what we can call the industrial revolution, are changing not only the industrial production, but the entire company where we play. So they give the rise to the so-called factory of the future. The challenge, you know, is not about digital. The challenge is about the integration of a digital layer into an ecosystem that is not digitally native, into an ecosystem that is physical. So the real challenge is to build what we call the phygital factory. This is the reason because today we have these special speakers together with us. We have Comau Robotics, representing in automation, a mechanical company, okay, that actually is integrating digital, not only in their offering, we will see, but also in their company itself, okay. And then we have the other side, okay, of the world. We have a small startup, okay, a university spin-off, focus 100% on digital. Actually, this startup is living a different challenge, the integration of their advanced algorithm into consolidated, mainly mechanical, I would say, companies. So if we have to summarize, let's say, the key elements of this challenge, this is the framework we would like to propose to you, okay? It is composed by different elements that we will try to explore together today. So with the support of our subject matter expert, we will touch some of these elements, of course, with the different levels of granularity, okay? Then we will try to move at a deeper level during the Q&A session, okay? In the top part, you have mainly the elements that compose the integration of, the evolution of automation from the traditional automation we will see, okay, to actually an area where we can have human and machine working together, really together, okay? Then we have the second layer, that is the digital layer, okay? Where actually we can include some intelligence into the machine as well. And then the last part, actually, that is the base, is about a new way of thinking, a new way to build revenues, a new way to collaborate, okay? So it is really about the strategy for our company, not just for our factory. So let's start with my favorite one, okay? Because it is a starting point for everybody. It is about automation. I don't want to call simply automation. I want to call smart automation, because I see many companies increasing and maximizing the level of automation, thinking this is the key driver for excellence, for operational excellence, okay? Actually, it is not. Smart automation, not high level of automation, is the secret, okay? So the integration of advanced robotic and machine with an agile approach, where it makes sense, when it makes sense, with the proper solution according to the specific application. So I would like to ask the support of our expert, Mark Anderson, okay, from Comau, to understand what's smart automation, okay? And actually how we can move to a new era of smart automation designed by Comau that you will see they call human manufacturing, okay? So Comau is, of course, a global leader here, but also a provocator in this sense. So Mark, welcome again. Okay, I please ask you first to introduce yourself, not just your role in Comau, but also your experience, so to give the context, okay, your perspective, and then please drive us in this smart automation perspective.
Wow, thank you. So hello, everybody again. My name is Mark Anderson. Obviously, I work for Comau. I head the Robotics and Automation Products Division in North America. I first started with the company in 1999, so quite some time ago, as a robot programmer, very low-level robot programmer, and I worked my way up the ranks to now run and lead one of our business units. With my time at the company and in this automation division, in this automation group, I've seen significant changes, as I'm sure most of you have as well. Hard push buttons are now replaced with LCD screens. Hard fixed robot programs are now smart programs. There's been significant change. So a little bit about Comau. Comau is an automation company. We're a solutions provider. We have a full range of products that include robots, wearable technologies, as you can see in the center of the screen, our exoskeleton that we call Mate. Duilio will go into a little bit more on that when he speaks. We also have a series of joining technologies, lasers, weld guns, we're an automation company. People come to us, companies come to us when they have issues and problems, or if they need to improve time to market, if they're looking to optimize something that they currently have. So it's a little bit about us. Our key figures, we are a pretty large company. We have about 9,300 employees. In the last 3 years, we had more than 250 projects. I won't go into many details here. A key point to the left, though, that I think would be worth noting is the turnover per area. We're about equal between North America and EMEA. APAC is about 20% and LATAM's about 12%. Those are some pretty key figures. It's interesting to see that, to know, where we're growing, where automation's growing, where we see the investments. That's interesting to view. Next slide. This speaks to some of our references. We're generally in automotive. It could be heavy trucking, commercial vehicles, electric vehicles, but our bread and butter is really automotive. We are seeing a spike in general industries. You can see at the bottom we have other and energy, and that's really an interesting part of our business. We do see a lot of challenges coming from the other industries and the energy industries, and I think those folks bring a lot to the table in really challenging how we think and how we do things. This is quite interesting. We're almost going full circle in the right-hand side, where you see the development axes on the right. We have product volume per model and product variety. So when the craft production, as you see, is identified in the bottom of the chart, that's really when automation began. And we're becoming almost full circle here, where automation meant let's do one thing really, really good and only one thing. For example, building one car down one assembly line. And as mass production was introduced, flexibility and customization started to take place. So our customers, and I think this follows the trend, we're starting to think about running more than one car or more than one model down a line to get a better return on their investment. They don't need to buy an infrastructure for 2 vehicles. They can buy one flexible automation system that can be used on multiple. And now in 2020, we've almost gone full circle, where we're starting to see automation requests come in, where our customers, instead of asking for flexibility and customization, they're looking for a one machine that does one thing really, really good, really, really fast, for a lower price. So to me, the trend is quite interesting. Now, speaking of trends, as a product company, when we develop our products, when we talk about digital, when we talk about doing something new, we are following trends in society, trends in the market. I love this slide because it speaks to, I think, things we can all relate to. All of us are dealing with an aging society. Our workforce is getting older and older every day. We're expecting them to produce more, to be more efficient, and have a better ROI every single day. So it is a challenge. So some of our products look at simply just automating things. Some of our products, we are giving users, we're giving employees different tools to do the same job in a different way. The Mate is another very good example of that. Virgil, and again, Duilia will go into those things. Sustainability, very, very important, especially nowadays. Nearshoring has become very popular just again in the last few weeks because of this COVID pandemic. And then, of course, Internet of Things. A lot of folks are seeing a lot of technologies come out in the market that they need to, or they're looking to have the industry follow. So, for example, iPhones, watches. You have technology on your wrist, you have technology in your pocket, and companies are looking for that type of connectivity with their automation. They need it to make better decisions. They're looking for it to make better decisions. And then our pillars. So again, this is something I think was very important to share with everybody. When again we develop something new, we develop it on the basis of 3 pillars. The solution needs to be easy to use. When you purchase an iPad for a child, you don't give them the instruction manual. You simply give them the iPad and they figure out how to use it. We need to have more plug and play devices that are simple, intuitive, and easy to use. So we are striving to make things simple, to make things easy. We have to add value. Whatever we do, we're not doing it simply because it's new and neat and shiny. We're doing it to add value. So our new products, our new solutions, our new ideas, Internet of Things, whatever we do or however we invest, we need to show a value and we need to bring a value.
Yeah.
And then human robot collaboration. Automation used to mean robots. Automation used to mean hard tooling. The way humans interact with machines and how humans interact with robots is very, very different nowadays. We have the introduction of collaborative robots. We have collaborative processes. We have cameras, vision systems, laser pointers. All of those things drastically change how we interface with machines. So we are looking again to ensure no matter what we develop and how we develop it, it needs to be simple. It needs to collaborate with humans in a very simple way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Here, it's very interesting, the link, Mark, that you describe between the trends, okay, and the strategic areas for the innovation pillars for Comau. Actually, I think that they can be valid for all the companies, not only for a company developing and producing automation and robotic machines. I have a question. Do you see a connection or a contamination between B2C and B2B trends? I mean, I think some of the user needs are typical in a typical consumer context, actually are becoming relevant also in a manufacturing environment. For example, thinking about a human-machine interaction, personalization, simplification actually are mainly expectation in the consumer world, and now actually they are more important in pure industrial ecosystem. Do you see this connection, or that's something strange?
I like the way you put it, contamination. That's interesting to me. We absolutely do. I don't know if I would have used the word contamination, but I do like it because you're absolutely right. When you go to the store to buy a phone, a computer, or a tablet, your expectation is you turn it on and it works. Your expectation, I don't know about you guys, but I personally have never read a manual for any consumer goods that I've purchased, whether it's an oven, a microwave, a computer. I don't read it. When it comes to heavy automation, we're expecting our customers to go through this studying process to read about how to do things, and we don't necessarily make it simple. And it's not because we do it intentionally, it's because we're in a certain comfort zone, and because we've done things this way for a long time. So I do believe there is some contamination, and I do welcome it. In our industry, sometimes it's used positively and sometimes it's not so positive because people don't like change inherently. But the way we look at it is good things never come from comfort zones. So we enjoy to be challenged and to look at things differently. So you expect
that your industrial operators don't read the manual.
Well, it's something that I'm sure people don't as much as we expect them to. But it's the world is changing, right? Every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never read a cell phone manual, so I have one. I have two. I use them every day.
Yeah.
Good questions. So again, on to us. We have many projects. We can probably just simply go to the next slide. I have a little more detail. So this picture you see here, we have a larger picture, I think, on the next slide, is a general industry solution where a customer came to us and said, hey, we do this dull, dirty, dangerous job in the field, and we do the same thing over and over and over again. It's a prime opportunity to automate. And when we reviewed the application, we saw it was outdoors. They wanted to run an AGV across a field that could be muddy, it could be sandy, it could have ruts. We build automation for indoors. We build automation that rides on concrete, right? So we use this opportunity to take all of the things we knew from body assembly, machining, powertrain, what we call process technologies, which is our joining group, our vision group, and we were to make a unique solution, really transforming the way this company operates. So what you're looking at here is an AGV on the bottom that has like tank tracks with the word Kamau across the middle of it. That AGV is carrying an automation platform that has a generator, it has a robot, an end effector, that's the gripper on the end of the robot, a vision system, and then a stack of solar panels. And what we're doing here is measuring where the solar panel frame is, and then very accurately adjusting the robot program to install a solar panel. So I wanted to bring this up again to talk about comfort zones. So our team is very used to doing these types of things indoors, on concrete, in a factory. And this is another really good example where we were able to think outside the box, work as a team across all our divisions, and come up with a unique solution that we hope transforms tomorrow. We hope that this technology is going to be used now later to help potentially pick fruits and vegetables in farms and fields. So again, the world is changing, and we hope with our group, our technology, and our minds, we can be a part of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and it's incredible because it's a super big AGV actually. You know, I'm very happy that you have selected this case as an example because it doesn't come from automotive. Because usually, you know, in the last decade, we considered automotive as the reference, I would say even the role model for automation, okay, for all the other industries, so what the so-called general industry. I'm wondering whether, Mark, now the general industry can be the pioneer for some innovative application like this, for example, okay? What do you think about it? Do we have the chance?
Yeah, I think you're looking at it. I agree. I believe they will be the next big pioneer. They're challenging the way things work, which is really good. They see bits of automation and they want to apply it to dull, dirty, and dangerous jobs that they're doing today. I think the next big wave of automation will be in general industry, and I think it will take all of our minds collectively to come up with some of these unique solutions. One of our biggest customers in general industry, they're a countertop manufacturer, stone and marble, and they use big, huge wet saws to cut chunks of granite. They see automation and they saw robots and said, we want to take this saw and we want to put it on a robot. And our goal is to drag and drop our CAD design into a software platform that digitalizes that path, and the robot will automatically cut our countertop, our bathroom sink, or what have you.
So fragile also.
After a couple years of development in commercial negotiations and such, we have a real customer. They're buying systems every single month, and they're selling them all over the world. So they challenged us and challenged the way we do things. And you're right. The next big wave will be general industry, and they change the way we think. So onto our IoT platform. Another thing folks are looking for and companies are looking for is the ultimate connectivity. They want their devices to talk to other devices. We have a platform at Kamau in which we call InGrid. You can see it at the top of the screen. InGrid really can do a lot of things. They're identified here in the middle of the screen here, from SPC, OEE, energy management, cycle time monitoring, all sorts of very good things. This is what companies are coming to look for when they think of IoT. And I think our next speaker Ernesto will probably go into this a bit more, but this is our platform. It's not specific to Kamau products. We use this to connect really anything and everything in your digital factory.
So here I think that digitalization for Kamau can have a double role, a double meaning. I mean, digitalization of your offering, okay, in your machines, that's clear. But also, I would say digitalization of yourself, okay? Because you have an asset, okay, that drive the company, okay, including even your people. So what about Kamau? I mean, do you find the typical barriers as other industries, traditional industries, or for you it's super easy because you're super smart? Be honest.
I'll be honest. So there are a couple different avenues for digitalization, and we are looking at it many ways. Obviously, we're looking at it in business development. We're looking at it in business improvement. So looking at ourselves to see how we can improve our business and what we're doing better and differently. In improvement in business development, we are looking to see how we can apply this tool and sell this tool to customers. So there are two very different paths. Generally speaking, I think the one thing that we always struggle with is digital is something everybody wants, but digital is something no one wants to pay for. So we are always looking to justify the reasons why. Some of them are very, very simple. Data entry is one of them, for example, that we've made what we call little robots that help us read one file and enter it, let's say, into another piece of software. Where we had a person doing that, we have these little bots and these little software programs that do that for us internally. And we have quite a few of those now. I forget how many now, but we've saved probably hundreds of thousands of hours of data entry. And then when it comes to our offering, this in-grid platform, we use this to sell, and we're using this also internally in our factories as we produce. And I think the slide speaks to some of the things it can do, but there are multiple avenues and paths for digitalization.
And by the way, the name is super cool, Ingrid, like a lady, okay, with reference to the grid. Super. So now let's move into our exploration of the elements of the digital factory, trying to better understand how we can make this smart machine collaborate with humans, okay? So we want to touch other two elements. The first is about cobots, okay? We have the opportunity to redesign the operations or refresh operations in order to make a collaborative robotic work with humans, okay? And not for humans. It is totally different, okay? This is the only way to really reach the so-called flexibility and even scalability for your operational excellence. But then we can also empower humans themselves, okay, with wearable technologies, from smart glasses for virtual and augmented reality, with advanced sensors, and even with exoskeletons that personally I love. So I asked Duilio to join Mark and Lucia, okay, on this virtual panel, let's say, in order to discover this new piece of the ecosystem. So Duilio, welcome again. I please ask you to tell your story a little bit again to the contest, and then to drive us in your work.
Yeah, sure. I'm an automobile guy, basically. I'm a sales automobile guy. And I joined Ford in the 90s, because I'm quite old, as you can see from my beard. And I went through some few groups, and I ended in Fiat and then in CNH Industrial. So I moved from B2C to B2B. I have not a mechanical engineer background. I'm a marketeer, but I had a very good father who was a doctor, and who told me always very clearly about science, about medicine, about things to understand. And that was a great school to me, because if you want to tell me a story which is just technical and no benefits, I don't buy it. Okay, so I love engineers. I do. I respect them, and I live with them on a daily basis. But my role is to translate complexity into something which is value, which represents value for our customers. And sometimes I need to tell you, I do struggle. And this is a key point in our chat today, because because on the other hand, when I joined Comau 4 years ago, when I joined Comau 4 years ago, I said to myself, okay, this will not be easy, but this is what I want to do. And but I found myself pretty ignorant on some technical aspects. And you need to be technological conversant, let's say, in order to understand some edge, as we are now, because here we are at the edge of technology. We are not talking bread and butter, okay? Here we're talking heavily about innovation and stuff. Okay, so this is my story. Sometimes people tell me, that's beautiful. It's technologically wonderful. And I said, okay, but what's for? Oh, it's beautiful. Just look at it.
For engineers. Okay. Sorry, we are engineers.
Yes, but I love you, truly, with all my heart. And I need you, because you are basically the translator from ideas to reality, which is okay. Okay. Back to our concept of human manufacturing, I would like to show you very quickly a video, just to put this into context, and then we'll go straight to the point.
Yeah.
And this is basically the concept, which is you've seen young kids playing with robots, and beside all the industrial stuff.
Yep.
And we basically understood that we cannot replace human beings all over the place. It's stupid. And it's what Mark was referring to before as smart manufacturing, which is technology is a concept, okay? Which needs to, let's say, employ at best the technology and people together. It's a mind trip at the end of the day, because it's a way of exiting, again, I quote Mark before, from our comfort zone, and design differently things, okay? So here you see an exoskeleton. I will tell you something more about it in a few minutes, but maybe we can move on to the next topic, which is cooperation with robots. Let me tell you this story. This is a German luxury car manufacturer. Well, I cannot tell you the name, but I mean, it's doesn't matter. And these guys, they understood together with us that they want to weld a piece of iron into their luxury machine, but they will not delegate this to a machine, okay? They need to do this handmade. Why? Because the way their operator does it on their car, it's unique, okay? So we built around this concept automation. And you say, what? So we were needing a high payload robot, collaborative one. This is the biggest collaborative robot in the world yet. Why? Because it had to move very, very heavy pieces of metal to build the frame of this car, and to fish them from a bin where everything was messed up with a vision system, quite clever, and give this to the operator, which is actually an artist, which welds this perfectly, because this is a structural element which guarantees the performance of the car. Okay, these are 300 kilometers per hour cars, so you cannot leave anything to chance here. Plus AGVs moving around, bringing parts, etc., etc. So I told you something in not in technical words, but just to let you understand that what we needed together with this customer was to preserve the great added value of the human dexterity into an industrial process that has to go very fast, because, you know, cycle times in the automotive are a matter of minutes, if not seconds, okay? And this pertains also to luxury brands, because they make money, because they make serious volume, okay? So this is nothing different in terms of business dynamics, but quality for them is something that they can sell at a very high value to their own customers. So we must follow them. Okay.
That's fantastic, because it means that there is no conflict, no contradiction between speed and the collaboration between human and machine. Okay, and this is a fantastic example also because it's a super big, the biggest in the world cobot. While actually, when we think about cobots, we think about small devices. Okay, so totally different vision. Okay, on regarding this kind of technology. I have a question, Duilio, for you. Be honest, and open. I see in many companies, in many industries, a wrong use of cobots. I mean, I see collaborative robots applied in areas of assembly line, welding system, whatever, where it doesn't make any sense to have a cobot. Okay, for both in terms of application, okay, so functionalities, I mean, and also in terms of business case. Okay, so which is your opinion about it? I mean, is it worth to experiment? It doesn't matter whether I have a payback, okay? Because I need to experiment, I have to use a learn by doing approach in a certain way, or no? Do I need to build a clear business case before implementing a solution like that?
I think we are now in the same place where we were. You are maybe too young, in the 80s with PCs.
Thank you.
Personal computers, okay? Why? Because during that days, in the late 80s, somebody invented a human machine interface, which was the mouse, which was the Windows operating system. It allowed people to avoid some complexities of the informatics and getting more into utilization, ease of use. The same things apply to cobots. As under a pure engineering point of view, many of the applications are wrong. Okay. Completely wrong, because they spend a lot of money to use cobots where you could more easily and more cheaply get a different solution. But there is another point which is very important. Automation is something that you can think about, but you must live. And cobots are making a great revolution, which is, beside the fact that, as you see on the picture, this has a sensitive skin, so it senses the environment. But the other side of cobots is ease of use. Human-machine interfaces in cobots are under a complete different paradigm. Exactly the same thing as the old MS-DOS system and the latest Windows, okay? So what does this mean? This means that you can program your robot, you can learn and experience what it can do for you. You can change programming without calling a system integrator, which comes with his programming software expertise, etc., etc. You just do it. And you go with trial and errors. So at the end of the day, yes, under a pure industrial point of view, these are wrong applications. Under an evolutionary, a company evolution point of view, this is crucial. It's a crucial process where people need to go. People need to go through this process in order to learn. Okay, so this is my point of view.
Now, thanks a lot, Duilio, because many companies are still struggling to build a financial for this application, and probably again it is worth to experiment and understand the value. Thanks.
It's more of an R&D investment rather than a manufacturing investment, maybe.
That's I like this
perspective. A different perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, this is another example of how people and machines can work together. And going again back to what Mark was saying about you remember the circle he was describing, where you go from mass production to mass customization. This is Virgil is it's a name which comes from the Divine Comedy, no? So he's the guidance of Dante throughout the other world. But what this machine does, this machine teaches to an operator what to do in terms of manufacturing process. Okay, by pointing in the right points, by setting the torque of his screwdriver at the right level, by talking to him or her, and allowing a person to operate into 5, 6, 10, 12 different manufacturing processes without the need to remember every single step. Okay, so by using again the dexterity of a person and repeatability and precision of the machine. Okay, and so this is one. It's an upside world. Okay, yeah. where you have a machine which basically serve a person. Then Mate. Mate is another very interesting adventure that we ran, because first of all, it's a purely mechanical exoskeleton, so it has no motors, no engines,
no digital.
No digital. But why? Because operators, I mean, the Mate is what? It's something that helps you endure a fatigue work, okay, for a long time, mainly with your arms raised up, which is a very uncomfortable position, which goes from the automotive underbody up to the cleaning ladies, the clean windows, or take away spider webs. And these are not fantasy examples. These are where we are actually selling Mate today. But it was an amazing trip. First of all, engines, batteries, etc. Because operators at first they told us we feel uncomfortable in being driven by a machine.
Yep.
Okay. So please give us something which helps us, but don't give me something which drives my movement. Okay. Yeah. And this is a manufacturing environment, because if you go in impaired people, this is another story. They need to be helped. Okay. But in a manufacturing environment, you don't. And again, we have a growing, let's say, people that are getting older and older on the workplace, so we need to support them. Okay. And for us, it was also another adventure, because we discovered utilizations of this exoskeleton by our customers rather than by our marketing department, which is also me. Okay. Why? Because we are a manufacturing automation company, and we do not talk to cleaning ladies on a daily basis as a customer. You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a very nice story, because we learned a lot, marketing and also in technological terms. Okay. Because making this object was not so easy, and we are already working on a second generation, blah, 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 et cetera, but I mean, adapting, learning biometrics, learning a lot of expertise that we did not have about human body and machine interface was a very steep but amazing learning curve that we went through.
Yeah. Here, I love your case regarding the story of a mate. Okay, not only because it is a university spin-off, very invested, and so on and so forth. That's another story. Okay, but also in the way you are building the journey. I mean, because of course you started from industrial application because it's your world. Okay, it's your business. But then you discovered totally different applications where probably you don't have any kind of knowledge of governance. Okay, even beyond, not beyond manufacturing, beyond industry at all. And actually they are teaching you something, okay? So I don't know whether, without touching confidential details, you can give us some other examples, okay? Because about this continuous contamination, not just in terms of application, but in terms of technologies. And I don't know whether this could be a message also for the other applications. So how we can be contaminated by others, okay? Because otherwise our industrial barriers are really barriers, okay? I don't know whether you can tell us something without touching confidentiality.
Yeah, going back to what you and Mark was saying before, and translating that into numbers, the growth of the robotics market, okay? Robotics market is more or less divided in half. Half is automotive, okay? So half of the robots are sold in the automotive business, the other half in the general industry. And general industry is a mess, because it's everything else than from wood processing to everything else, to metal, to electronics, to logistics, to everything. So to answer to your question, we are receiving a lot of input from these industries, and they are eager about automation. They want automation. And if you want to tell me to know something more, most of the growth in the future is projected to come from there. So from general industry, I mean, automotive is fully saturated with automation. Okay, so they are plateauing. We are okay. It's a big business. It's an enormous business, and it's the most automated industry in the world. But it's okay. It's saturated. We know everything. General industry is where we discover applications on a daily basis. Okay, from the most simple one to the most complicated ones. Mark was quoting the marble and stone cutting guys. I mean, can you imagine that in a very traditional? I mean, we have some marble guys close by here in Tuscany. They are very old guys, very traditional.
Traditional, yeah.
They discovered a new technology that can help them save a lot of money, have a machine robot-based, which cuts marble in fantastic ways, and they are fostering, again, creativity, etc., etc. Marble, stone, you see? The Stone Age and digital.
Stone Age, exactly. Exactly. Thanks a lot, Duilio. Okay, stay with us because we will come back again to the physical part of the digital world. Okay, now before jumping into the pure digital core, okay, of the framework, I would like to give you a provocation, okay, because the last element is what is called manned unmanned teaming. Actually, it is about an implementation of different kind of systems, manned and unmanned together, because they can work in tandem, and they are fantastic when you have to manage very, very complex operations and when you have a distributed workforce, machines and human. You know, this kind of solution actually come from the defense and the aerospace industry. So I would like to ask to my friend Massimo, who have a long experience, okay, in aerospace industrial applications, to give us a flavor, okay, about this new piece, this new element, Massimo.
Thank you, Lucy. Actually, more than long, I had an early experience because I started my career in aerospace and the European Space Agency. But now I am in this digital transformation business, and I learned that one of the most important things on digital transformations and digital world is the cross-industry fertilization and contamination. This means that what we learn from an industry can be applied easily to the others. And in particular, defense had in the history of humans, unfortunately, the role to introduce, to investigate new technologies and to apply new technologies before to be applied in the civil world. So actually this manned-unmanned technique that is here, for example, an experiment and a factor, the defense, where you can have an helicopter that is manned, so without pilot. It's a manned air vehicle, a UAV, that is fully controlled by the crew that is in another helicopter, a Wildcat that is flying 8 kilometers far from it. And you can imagine that this remote control, it's much more than just a drone flying, a drone exercise, because you can have in the second helicopter the full feeling to be in the first helicopter, because you have the same sensors, you have the same indicators, the same controls. So there is actually, from a human point of view, not so much a difference, in being in the second one. So this means that it's possible to have machines that are commanded by humans without the humans being physically present into the machines. And this is exactly what is applicable to also to factories. Now, there are environmental conditions sometimes that make very risky and very unpleasant to work physically into the factory. Even maybe this is slowing down the productivity. So use this man-to-man paradigm. It's possible to have somebody far from, with distance from the machines, from the factory, but fully commanding the production of the factory itself. This can be extreme. So we can have a factory printing or 3D printing in Africa, something, while maybe the command of the control of the production is in Switzerland, for example. No? And this is exactly what is the new paradigm of localization of factories and the change of the global supply chain in a more remote supply chain, because actually the remote control is boosting this. So this is, I think, a good example of how we can learn from other industries.
Exactly. A good example, and not just a provocation, as we said, but also a new perspective to look at the manufacturing models that are evolving. Thanks a lot, Massimo, because you helped me to raise the ball now to the digital layer. Okay, so let's see the key elements now of the digital part of the digital factory. First of all, of course, KPI monitoring, because we have to integrate basic and then advanced analytics tools to monitor the performance of our machines, of our processes, of the entire factory and company as well, in order to identify critical parameters, critical areas, and define the proper action plan for operational excellence. Clear. Then we have to move beyond. Okay, we can build what the so-called digital twins, okay, in order to combine visual information with the live and historical data. Here we can really boost our ability to do what? To take decision, period, because that's the challenge. Our ability to take the right decision in the right moment, okay? And this is exactly the challenging part of the factories today. So please, Massimo, can you help me in giving some examples, some facts about this really digital transformation of factories today?
Yeah, first of all, I want to remark again what you said regarding data. No, I think that, okay, there is no digital transformation or revolution without involving a big quantity of data. But I want to say in this case that factories, manufacturing, and in any case, the industrial world, in all the different flavors, is one of the major responsible of this, and also the beneficiary of this. Why I said that? Everybody knows that we are living in a world where every 2 years, data around the world double. So we will have at the end of 2020 44 trillion of gigabytes available, and means that 2 years ago we had 22, and in 2 years we will have 88. It's simple arithmetic, but it's impressive. So means that why this is happening? It's not for sure for the personal customer profiles that are growing in the CRM. No worries, it's not. It's because of the industrial world. If I buy now a washing machine, a microwave, or even better, a car, that is full of sensors. These sensors are producing data, and this sensor could be pressure, whatever, altitude, whatever. They are producing data, and these data are collected during the production, and even after the production. So after, when it's on the market, it's on the street, the car. So, and they will continue to produce this data. That's the reason why if a car produces 1 gigabyte per day in production, or 1 gigabyte per month on the street, this means that we have a booming of information. But this is also the fuel of the Internet of Things, it's the fuel of the big data, it's the fuel of the intelligence that we can have around this. So the digital twins that you mentioned are exactly this. Now means that we are talking about the possibility to simulate, to emulate, to monitor the behavior of an object, of a machine, of an equipment remotely. This could be during the assembly, during the manufacturing, and even after the life, during all life cycle of the product. So this means that digital twins will give the possibility to have an avatar of the object on which I can also do tests, and I also can do, let me say, investigation in case of troubleshooting and so on, without being exactly owning physically the object itself. So these digital twins are booming, as you can imagine, as a part of the industrial IoT environment. And we have a forecast of having $92 billion dollars to be spent on just on this by 2025. And in general, this is, let me say, a general trend. We have about 91% of the companies, industrial companies, that are confirming that they are investing heavily on digital factories. So 91 means almost all the industry is there. And why they do that? Not only for reducing costs, and this is a good news, no? Because actually we don't want just to cut forever, no? It's 3.6% of cost cutting is together with a fantastic 2.9% increase of revenues. Because this means that this kind of industrialization is improving the quality, is improving the personalization, is improving the appealingness of the goods for and the products for the companies. So you can sell different, you can sell, you can be more competitive, or you can even do new revenues from new streams or new products and new services that you didn't do before. So, and this is important because actually it's a competitive landscape. I mean, McKinsey says that 49% of the leading companies invest more in digital than their counterparts. That doesn't mean that actually, and the 90% of lagging companies invest less. It means that there is a big gap. You know? Who is leading the market is investing hard. And then there are a lot of losers that are, of course, going to disappear because you cannot compete with a company that has 1 trillion gigabytes of data you don't have. No?
Exactly.
This is going ahead on a few numbers that are impressive again. We are going to the efficiency that is, of course, a good enabler for every kind of these investments. Efficiency gain is expected in 5 years about 12%. So in 2-3 years, typically you have the payback of this kind of ROI, you know? And at the same time, the cost reduction just in the 2020 is planned to be $78 billion. So real big numbers that in this moment, especially now where where efficiency is a factor of surviving in this kind of new market is very important. So these were just a few numbers. I think we can have others, but even the global spending of IoT solutions, about $70 billion in 2020, just in 1 year. I think it's a huge number. I think that is something that is, it's showing that there is a big shift that we are living. And the fact that is growing so fast, it's even so exponential that it's even hard to follow easily. No? So we try to be always ahead of the line, because even if we try, we will be not always ahead. But if we are not trying to do it, we'll be very, very below, let me say.
That's fantastic, because I love the way you highlighted that it is not just about, it is not an opportunity, it is mandatory, okay? And not just to maintain the business, but also to redesign the business. So as manufacturing people, we are used to work on operational excellence. Actually here, and we will see later on, we have the opportunity to redesign the way we print revenue, okay? So the business model. So it is really a revolution, okay? Not just in terms of technology, but, and really should be happy about a marketing perspective, let's say. So super. Massimo, thank you so much. Help me now to describe the other two elements that probably are the most complex, because also making reference to the video message, it is not just about technology, okay? It is about the way you use the technology to build revenue. Actually, the other two elements are about the cloud strategy. So it is not about the cloud computing technology. No, it is about the transformation plan to adopt the cloud at different levels in the company, according to a diversified timeline, let's say. I see many companies experimenting cloud or deciding which kind of cloud should I use, but they don't have a cloud strategy, okay? And then, moreover, an embedded approach both for security and traceability, so including even blockchain technologies as well. So, which is here your point of view, Massimo? Do you see companies really designing a cloud strategy, or they are just experimenting? Which should be, according to you, the right approach here for the cloud strategy or for a strategy in general?
I mean, I started personally to push for cloud solution since early 2000 something. I remember the first project I did in this kind of virtualization in 2005, and the first cloud we implemented in Italy for the government was in 2010. But always as you say, I experimented that there is a big cultural problem, no? We are of course, we are ahead since 10 years ago now in this cultural understanding, but still, we are not still there, no? And we are still too much belonging or to the category of people who think that if I own something, I control something. If something is here with me, it's safe, no? And it's not. So actually, yeah, you're right. Not always cloud is phased in the right way. Sometimes it's done only for reducing cost, and this is for me it's good, but it's not enough. And the second, maybe sometimes it's done when there is a constraint. Maybe I want to buy an application, but this application is running only on cloud. I accept.
So they are obliged.
So actually, I think that the other approach is to rethink completely the IT of a company in this digital world. In the digital world, there is no way to own, and even to possess physically things. No, it's against the paradigm. So actually, I think that we need to understand this, and we need to see if some application can be completely in public cloud. In some other could need a private cloud, or maybe for some reasons here, for example, in the Middle East, there is a lot of use of domestic cloud, public cloud. So it's public, but not globally distributed. And for computing, edge computing, that even are more important now for the localization of the business, could be also alternative. So it's very important to see all the landscape of the applications and decide one by one who has to migrate on which kind of cloud and which kind of solutions, and with a roadmap, maybe not always everything now, maybe something 1 year and 2 years. Not always this is clear, and not always is approached with the right business case. No, it's this is the reality. But I want to highlight that apart the philosophy, the professional philosophy around this, I think it's important to understand the cloud and security that you mentioned are two important components of digital transformation. At the weakest point, I mean, cloud is more to remove a constraint, the physical computing, the physical storage and so on. It's remove a constraint that is a matter of agility. On the other side, the security is to make this opening world through digital safe in any case. So it's a battle, it's a daily battle against the risk, but it's something that has to be addressed. So good strategy for cloud, good strategy for security, and practice, not only strategy, are mandatory for having a safe digital transformation.
Fantastic. Thanks, Massimo.
Probably I was longer than
no, absolutely not, my dear. Absolutely not. Actually, it's a complex topic. Probably we should do a specific webinar only on that, I would say. So let's now move to the core of the digital, to the most complex part of digital. So let's assume you have already implemented big data analytics. You have already built the data, but you have another challenge in front of you. You have to optimize parameters that are apparently conflicted with each other. So let's now move to optimization. Okay, and together with me I have Ernesto, the CEO of Cyberdyne. Cyberdyne is a startup from Jellyfy portfolio. So I please Ernesto to introduce yourself, your story, and then help us to understand this complex world of artificial intelligence and optimization cases.
Thank you very much, Lucia. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. So artificial intelligence is actually a full set of methods that can be actually combined with each other to obtain a specific solution to a problem. And myself and my business partner, Giovanni, actually gained some, actually a lot of insight into this kind of methods when we were in academia, because we spent several years in universities, both in Italy and abroad. And then we decided to actually fund a company, Cyberdyne, to bring to the market most of what we actually learned and built during our years in the university. And in this picture, actually, we can see the first part of the team of Cyberdyne. In this video, actually, which is a video from MIT from the mid-90s, so it's not very actually from these days, but actually it's very interesting because I can use it quite easily to explain what is artificial intelligence from some sort of point of view. You can see here in this virtual environment, a kind of a pool or a kind of a floor where these creatures can swim or run or jump. You can see actually one application of artificial intelligence, which is called artificial evolution. And here, none of these machines, let's call those creatures or agents like that, actually none of those are actually designed by a human being, because the machine is designing these creatures in order to actually obtain the goal that is given to the machine. So as well as Duilio and Mark were actually mentioning before, again, here a paradigm is actually seen upside down, because there is no human programmer which is programming something, but the machine is actually programming itself given an objective, given a task to solve. In this case, find the best combination of components and movements that can actually make the agent running faster or swimming faster and so on. So the main idea here is actually to give a task and a way to actually measure how good the solution to the task is, and then the machine is actually finding the best solution to that task. For example, in this specific moment of the video, we can see that we have some agents swimming in order to reach as fast as possible the red target here. And after a while, the computer finds by itself that building some helicoidal movements of the arms of the robot, it's not a robot, it's a bot, is actually the best solution. And it's actually a solution found by itself from the machine. So it's all original artificial solution to the problem. And so this kind of technology is called evolutionary computation or mimetic computing, which is a specific flavor of artificial intelligence that I personally contributed to build during the last few years. And it can be used in as a foundation for the so-called prescriptive artificial intelligence, which means that you can use this technology to support decision in your decision-making stack in your company. You can use artificial intelligence in order to make description or prediction of what you are going to have or see in your specific process, both at the very low level during, for example, the execution of a task in a specific robotic cell, as well as a wall in your company, for example, making predictions of what you are going to sell in the next few months. And then after that, you can actually use this technology to make a good decision about how to exploit this opportunity by data and by prediction. You can actually use this kind of technology in several different applications in your company. You can actually span from logistics, transportation of goods. Here on the right side, you can actually look at the task of finding the shortest path, the best way to visit several customers in the States, for example. And this is a very well-known problem, but actually a hard problem from a mathematical point of view, because if you have to visit more than, let's say, 20 or 30 customers, the number of possible options you have to explore is so high that the AI is your only option to find a good solution. And production scheduling and planning, as well as designing of a system or a components, are all problems that can be actually approached with this novel evolutionary approach. It is also called generative design in some cases. And actually, even if this can be considered different problems, all those problems actually share the same underlying structure, so they can actually be solved by the same techniques, the same methods from artificial intelligence. And just to give you a couple of examples from real-world applications, you can see here the way we used our software platform Kimeme to help engineers design a component from applications, in this case, the wheel of a car. So actually, Kimeme is a platform that can be actually plugged and can interact with software from the usual design standards by engineers, such as, for example, CAD or simulation software and so on. And by means of plugging Kimeme with this software, we have been able to find a wheel 15% lighter than the best wheel designed by hand by the most skilled engineers in the company. And so this is a very interesting result, even if actually we are promoting not a substitution of the engineer by automatic process, but actually we are promoting some sort of exchanging and interacting behavior between the engineer and the machine in order to obtain a better results by actually merging the results that each of these two parts can actually produce during the process of designing. But design is just one of the applications.
And Ernesto, sorry, in this kind of application, what about the usability? I mean, the research and development engineers should make always reference to Cyberdyne team, or they can work directly on an easy to use user interface?
Well, actually, Kimeme has been built from the ground up in order to be very easy to use, because our first user in mind as a persona for the design was actually the designer of a components or the designer of a control system, for example, in the robotic field. I'm actually coming from robotic design and robotic teaching in the university. And so for that specific techniques, we actually designed Kimeme in order to be to use for those kind of application.
Yeah.
Then after that, we actually realized that the application of these kind of methods are very useful for other possible applications, not only in the field of engineering and design, but also in the field of process and design, decision-making process, also in the field of services as well as manufacturing. This is just a case of application for this kind of methods, because we solved the problem in a pilot project together with a very big consultant, a very famous one actually, and a very big bank in Italy. The problem here was to actually find the best strategy to fill the ATM network, so the place where everybody actually withdraw cash. The decision of filling up this machine of cash is actually done by the director of each single bank. But by actually use of this artificial intelligence technique, we've been able to find strategies able to reduce the cost of filling up of cash the machines, as well as reducing the amount of money actually locked into this machine. So reducing actually the cost of locking capital in this machine. And this is something that has been actually obtained by using Kimeme and building a specific configuration of our engine by our experts in optimization.
And just to have an idea, how much time does it take to implement a proof of concept on a case like this?
A proof of concept and pilot projects can be actually solved in a few weeks of applications because of this usability issue we were discussing before.
So let's say 1 month and a half, you can have an easy case. Now that's an important message, because most of mechanical engineers like me thinks that you need 1 year, okay, of experimentation to reach the valuable results so far, okay?
Yeah. And another interesting application of Kimeme on the real world application is in the workforce organization. So whenever you have a lot of people, you have to organize in order to have the right number of people with the right skill in the right moment in order to fulfill the requirements for the specific task. For example, this is an example from a call center organization, the biggest one in Italy, the second one in Europe. The problem here is actually to allocate the right number of people answering to phone calls in order to exploit their skills, to have the right number of people, not to allocate people that you don't need at a specific time. For example, if you have a right amount of forecast for incoming phone calls, you want to have the right amount of people answering to phone calls, because otherwise you could have you have to spend more money to have people in that specific time, and it's something that you don't want. And so at the same time, you want to actually have the amount of actually shifts and the rotation of the shifts during the week and the months in order to have, let's say, compliant welfare treatment of your workforce, because otherwise you could have people working most during the weekend and other people of the same team not working during the weekend. And so you could have, as a result, somebody that is not happy for that. So you can have hard constraints are called, so mandatory rules that you have to respect in order to fulfill your requirements, as well as soft constraints and your business requirements, which is to reduce the costs. And you can obtain all of these by use this artificial intelligence application.
Yeah, I love this case because it really highlights the potential of an optimization algorithm. Because actually, the rule is that when you have a complex context, okay, and you have to manage according to different kind of apparently conflicting parameters a workforce, then it makes sense to do that. This is a call center, but in manufacturing, I think it is an everyday challenge. Okay, this kind of complexity.
Yeah. And manufacturing is actually a very interesting and very complex situation where you can apply this technology, because you can actually face a case where you have to merge, actually, for example, the shift arrangement of your people working on the machines involved into the building of your products, as well as so the work force management we have just seen in the previous case, as well as the actually planning and scheduling of your activities. So you have to actually find usually the right assignment for your production decision, as well as the right decision about your workforce involvement in the task. And so you can actually merge all these aspects in order to find the best application for these methods, in order to find the most suitable decision for your production plan. In this case, finding, for example, the best allocation in order to actually maximize your OEE that has been actually mentioned before, as well as so minimizing the cost for the production on the plant, as well as, for example, maximizing the revenues that you are not actually reaching because of poor or not well optimized decision about your organization on the building of your products. Actually, in Cyberdyne, we got a lot of, we gained a lot of experience about manufacturing, because we are providers for big companies in the manufacturing of components of automotive. Of course, automotive is one of, actually this is the most complicated application possible field for this kind of technology. We are actually working in automation for automotive, as well as other applications such as food, fashion, production, and so on. So,
I have a question, Ernesto.
Yes.
Do we need to have a consolidated big data set or not? Because I can try to work in the shoes of our webinar participant, and probably they're wondering whether they have the data.
Yeah. Well, actually, the video about the swimming bots is something useful to understand this aspect of your question, because in that case, you don't have to obtain data about your swimming bots before you are actually starting to design those, because actually you are simulating all of those bots swimming or running, and using those real-time data in order to find your suitable solution. So you actually can build and solve your optimization problem just by actually measuring in real time what is actually happening in your environment. So this is why actually I was very impressed by this Ingrid platform, because this is actually something you could actually exploit in real time in order to measure what is happening in your production line or machines, and then optimize in real time what you are going to do in the next few minutes or hours. And this is something very interesting as a possible.
Fantastic. So this is even the value of the small data, let's say.
Yeah.
So coming back to the end, to the last part of our framework, it's clear, guys, how you can integrate a new access to competencies, revising, of course, your processes, but also leveraging new technologies. Okay. And I would like also to make you reflect about the use of the application of the gig economy, so just-in-time workforce, even in manufacturing. This is not a provocation. Think about that. Startups are already using, okay, even manufacturing startup, and they are already creating a wide base of specialized people. So probably too early now, but of course an opportunity for the future. We have the opportunity to build, we have the responsibility to build a diversified assets in terms of technology infrastructure, digital, of course, in terms of partnership, small startup, big consolidated companies, and in terms of alliances, a collaborative model. Of course, it is sustainability and wellness, so it is something beyond the safety. It's wellness are mandatory. Now they are more and more integrated into the KPIs of all corporations. The last element we would like to put on the table to move to the final piece of this webinar in the Q&A session is about business model. Again, we are manufacturing people, of course, and mainly we think about operational excellence. But we have to reflect about the opportunity to build new services from the data. Data servitization is a hot topic everywhere, especially in manufacturing. There are pure machine-like mechanical machine companies who are reflecting about the opportunity to sell services and not really machines, okay? Of course, it is a long journey, okay, because in order to have a sustainable business case, we need to experiment together, like Duilio suggested, okay, for collaborative robots. Probably we don't have the final financially sustainable recipe today, but we have to start somewhere. Okay, so I would like to start now our Q&A session. Okay, I have already received questions from the audience, so we have all the panelists here together. So I would like to start from the business model topic, actually, raising this question to Comau. Okay, so how Comau is working in the definition of a new business model that can leverage data from the machine. This is we received different questions regarding this topic even before. So Duilio, Mark, which is your reflection about it?
I can field this one, Duilio. We're doing a few things. I think you hit the nail on the head when you mentioned service. So in our service group, for example, we're using a digital platform to really validate some of the things that we've engineered, such as product life cycle. When we develop a product, we engineer it to be good for so many cycles, so many parts, and so on. Adding the layer of digital now allows us to quantify our digital estimations, or our math, right? How long a bearing's supposed to last, how long a belt or a roller is supposed to last. So that digital layer enables us to better predict product life cycles. And it also helps us obviously determine when something is going to fail before it fails. So we can prevent failures and problems in the field. So those are two ways that we're using digital differently and IoT differently in the field.
Thanks a lot, Mark. And Massimo, according to you, which should be the proper steps to reach this kind of challenge, okay? So new business model creation, or how can we build this digital factory?
Yeah, I mean, I think I see two, maybe three key components that I think we need to address. First of all, and I'm sorry if I remark always this topic because I think it's the main driver of everything, is to build the right culture, the right readiness from also company strategy, company purpose point of view, and having all the employees very aligned on that, and not to be scared and resist to this change, but to accept this idea to elevate the human role in the company in order to have space to augmented performance by machines. So second, I think is, and I highlight again this important topic, is data and data science and analytics. I mean, digital power is limited, and even the business case results could be really limited if we are not able to leverage at best the data that we can collect from this experience. So I think to create the right capabilities, even before starting or during starting, in able to extract the right know-how, it's very important. Last but not least, I think the other important component is the pragmatic approach and the awareness that digital transformation is not a trip from one place to another place, but it's a long journey. It's a never-ending journey. So I think it's important to start smart with some minimal viable projects with the right agile methodologies, but especially create in the company or join ecosystem innovation hubs, because what we do today of innovative could be not enough tomorrow. So it's a continuous research of what to do. So I think that to have a team that is focusing on implementing the next wave, and another team that is thinking about the future waves and experimenting, especially at ecosystem level, because innovation is not one company deal. No, it's multiple stakeholders from ecosystem deal. Yeah, I think
exactly.
My point of view, at least.
Thanks, Massimo. Duilio, Massimo just said that it is a never-ending story. Okay, according to your vision, okay, in different kind of industries, do you see different level in terms of maturity level of, we can call industry 4.0, okay, implementation according to the region, according to the sector? Which is your vision there from marketing's perspective?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm still learning a lot, because I assume that automotive is quite, let's say, literate into this stuff. But yet the business cases which can be developed are quite unexplored. Okay, so in other words, what Mark was saying before, there's a low-hanging fruit in our business, in our industry, and across many industries, which is basically predictive maintenance and this family of, okay, and this is quite across. We recently launched an initiative where we are giving a bit of Ingrid, the digital platform, for free, just to inject into our customers this mentality and telling them, go for it, play, learn by doing, experiment, and be critic, be savvy when somebody tells you about a solution. Okay, make up your own mind. So this is one thing. So I don't have a clear answer to your question, to be honest with you. There's something which amazes me, which is let's say an enlargement of the concept that Mark was saying before. Imagine how powerful it is to be able to understand and monitor with facts how a product performs in the hands of your customer. Okay, great. And the potential of that is still unexplored for many companies. So future is bright.
Fantastic. Thanks, Duilio. Ernesto, Duilio just said that he would like to give a piece of Ingrid for free to his customers or prospect. Do you see the same potential? I mean, could we give, or how could we give a piece of Chimeme, Yolga algorithm, to companies interested in optimization solution? Because it seems, optimization seems the last piece, seems close to fantascience, okay? Actually not, actually we can experiment even tomorrow morning. How does it work, Ernesto? How could we do?
Actually, one key element we found in order to push this technology into companies is actually to make it seamless with respect to the existing processes used by the company. Because if they have to change something, or the more they have to change, the less they are actually open to approach a new technology. So actually, we tried to make this kind of approach the less impacting on the existing process possible, actually supporting the decision-making process of the decision makers into the company without any specific heavy weight on their actually day-by-day process or on the availability of the data and so on. So actually, the key element was actually to try to start with what they were already doing with data and with processes actually. Then, of course, if you already have in place or if you start to experience the advantages of this kind of technology, and they usually start to do it in a quite short time, because actually the return on investment on this kind of technology is quite interesting, I would say. Then actually they start to explore options and they start to say, okay, actually this is interesting. Maybe with a MET, so a measuring system for our plants, we can actually improve the process. And then so they start to explore other options about this kind of technology. But I would say that actually it is not the last part in a long process, because actually you can start to obtain advantages from artificial intelligence and specifically optimization actually from the start, from the very beginning.
Thanks, Ernesto. Mark Duilio, you know, we started this Black Swan capabilities webinar to give a practical answer, okay, to the COVID driven situation. Actually, I would like to ask you whether you are perceiving some positive reactions from your ecosystem. I mean, can this crisis represent a boost for automation, for the real smart automation you are driving? How do you see future application driven by what we are still living today?
A great question. I think that this COVID situation, albeit has been quite devastating for some economies, and it's been horrible for some companies. But I think if we were to take a step back and see what it's driving us to do, one of the good things is we're learning how to communicate in a different way. We're learning how to do our jobs in a different way. We are also starting to rely more and more on remote connectivity, viewing things from a distance. We're learning how to sell differently. We're learning how to host live Q&A sessions that we would normally all meet and sit in the same room. We're doing over Zoom. So as we question or move forward with business as we normally would, we're going to be doing it with that question in the back of our mind. Can this be done remotely? What part of this can we do from our home? And I think it's going to drive us to the next level of automation and technology, which will be the digital layer, which will be visualizing and monitoring our tools and equipment from home, from our tablets, from our iPads.
I would say, Mark, you describe perfectly what I would like to call seamless manufacturing. Actually, Duilio here is the marketing guy, so he knows very well the seamless experience concept that is becoming more and more relevant in some business. Actually, even for us, for manufacturing guys, probably the future of our environment means a new operational experience that we can really call seamless manufacturing. That is something beyond automation, that is something beyond the remote control of the machine, something beyond the collaboration between human and machine. It is a unique experience, okay? It doesn't matter where we are or who we are, probably, okay? So I would like to thanks a lot our subject matter expert, our fantastic speakers. So actually you really surprise us with practical cases from real life and even with provocations. I would like to close this conversation, okay, with the 3 laws of robotics from Asimov that are essential as ever before, okay, today. Please, I know I'm now receiving other questions here on the chat, but please, we don't disappear, okay? Consider that you can send us questions, requests, proposals in whatever moment, okay? You will receive a survey after this webinar. Anyway, you will receive our contact. We are here, okay, to help you, to drive you in the exploration of the digital factory that again is not there, okay? We have to build it together. So thanks a lot and see you, I would say, in the digital world. Massimo, the stage is yours for your conclusion.
Man, just the closing stage, because It was a fantastic show, so it's easy. I want to thank again the guests and especially the participants still on after even we are going longer than planned. I think that this is another session that is demonstrating how much is happening and how much the current situation is accelerating the interest, and of course will accelerate the results. We are in a changing world and we are excited of that. Angelify is ready to help whoever wants to understand how to leverage this moment in the good way. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.